Good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the MPO, Bloomington Monroe County MPO Policy Committee. Call to order for and introductions. I'll start to my left.
Jillian Kinsey, the Bloomington Plan Commission. Hopi Stossberg, Bloomington City Council.
John Kennedy, Vice Chair and Chair of the MPO Citizens Advisory Committee.
Andrew Seabor, serving as proxy for Mayor Thompson.
Lisa Ridge, Monroe County.
Doug Horn for Bloomington Public Transit Corporation Board of Directors.
Dan Swelford, Ellisville Town Council.
Scott Ferris, Monroe County Plan Commission.
Linnea Wellings, NDOT, proxy for Tony McClellan.
Nate Nickel, the Bloomington Public Works Department, proxy for Director Adam Wason.
Jason Bannock, Indiana University.
Thank you. Approval of meeting agenda. Any changes to the agenda or a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We don't have anyone online, so I believe we can, we don't need to do roll call. So all those in favor for approving the meeting agenda as submitted, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, approval of minutes for August 8th, 2025. Any changes, comments, or a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor for approval of the minutes for August 8th, 2025, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain, I wasn't here.
All right. That was, did you get that, Katie? Yeah. Okay. Communications from the chair and vice chair. I don't have any announcements or anything.
I don't have any announcements either, except that the Citizens Advisory Committee recommended to the Policy Committee approval of all the TIP amendments that we'll see today.
Also, from the Technical Advisory Committee, we met on August 27th and also recommended all the agenda items that we're looking at today for approval.
Thank you. I think you just took care of the reports from the officers and the committees. So moving on to reports from MPO staff. Item A.
Okay. Sorry, the first item we have is the Federal Highway Administration, or U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, Federal Transit Administration, approval of the fiscal year 2026-2030 statewide transportation improvement program, and then by reference, the Bloomington Monroe County Metropolitan Planning Organization fiscal year 2026-2030 transportation improvement program. That's on page 7 and page 8. The only thing I wanted to add to that is that it was a little more complex this year, not for us, but for the state of Indiana and also the Department of Transportation, simply because there are a number of vacancies at Federal Highway Administration office in Indianapolis. So normally we would get this, normally several years ago you would get this on July 1st, and then it's crept to August 15th, around there, and this time it was by the hair on our chinny chin chin of August 28th. But we have the approval letter in there, so we're all good to go, and the program that we're now operating under is the 26 to 30 Transportation Improvement Program, which is posted online, the original version and the amended version, which we'll go through the amendments today. Any questions anybody may have?
I'm not seeing any questions. Item B.
Okay, item B. Congress is now formulating the new Surface Transportation act, the IIJA, Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Act, and that is up. I mean, it expires on September 30th of this year. So Congress has been holding preliminary sessions on advancing the new proposal, and then published in the Federal Register under docket number, which is on page 9 of your packet, docket OST 2025-0468. We submitted a comment recommendation of what we would like to see, we, as in the MPO, would like to see in the new Surface Transportation Act. I don't know how many of the responses they got, thousands upon thousands, I'm sure. And so far, the legislation is not advanced. It looks like everything will be going to a continuing resolution. The issue is continuing resolution going to be a short-term one, or whether it's going to be till January. And right now, it looks like January, but then stay tuned. I recommend that you read what was written there on page 9, 10, and 11 in response to the publication in the National Register. And then the following pages on page 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 are what I would call all of the associated organizations with surface transportation planning in the United States. And I'm not going to name those off. Their logos are right there. But suffice to say, there's substantial interest in this because the current act, the IIJA, was revolutionary in terms of what they not only offered in terms of dollar amounts, but also in the variety of infrastructure offerings that they had. And that's all I've got on that, unless anybody has any comments. Okay. None? Okay.
Moving on.
Okay. On page 18 of the packet, you'll find an early coordination letter that federal, state, and local entities received. This is just the one to the MPO. Local federal, state entities received this early coordination letter for NDOT's upcoming pedestrian improvements that will be done at SR 45 and South Liberty and Hickory Leaf Drive. So they plan to, according to the letter, just in summary, they plan to relocate the bus stop to the southwest quadrant, or from southwest quadrant to the southeast. These updates are primarily to make the bus stop accessible and improve the intersection for pedestrians. They also plan to install a new bus pad, construct 2 new crosswalks across SR 45. They plan to install crosswalk signals with push buttons, as well as ADA compliant curb ramps. They'll also construct a piece of sidewalk to lead up to the bus pad. And then no drainage work is anticipated at this time. Engineering and all the other entities listed in this letter also received the letter. I did reply with a few questions for them, but the likely next step is that they'll be having a meeting with the folks that were sent this letter for further input. And construction is anticipated to start summer of '27.
Question? Sure.
Just a point of clerical stuff. On page 21, in the list of agencies that received the early coordination letters, at the bottom of column 1 is listed City of Bloomington Transit at 301 South Walnut Street. If that is supposed to be the Bloomington Public Transportation Corporation, that might be edited, and then our address is not 301 South Walnut Street. But who am I to complain?
Yeah. Do you know if they received a letter? We can talk
I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm happy to pass my copy on, but I didn't know whether our agency should check in with and update this, or you all, or what you'd suggest.
I would add that normally these letters are all electronic, so it would have gone to Bloomington Transit
I'm sure it got there
electronically.
some
Yeah,
way.
nothing. In the olden days, it all came in a letter form, but in the last 9 years, everything's been electronic. So,
Well, I'll just point this out at our office then
No,
and
it's
see what they
good.
do.
no, and we'll note that to the consultant, too.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on this item? Moving on to item D.
Okay, I included on page 27 to 28. Oh, looks like that's inaccurate, isn't it? No. Okay, page 27 to 28. I just included a chart, a screen grab of a chart I have of projects, and it's just kind of a place to put updates for projects. Normally, we just try to verbalize the updates that were given by engineers recently, but now they're in this document. So a few updates on West 2nd Street project. The letting actually occurred 2 days ago on September 10th, so after this packet went out. A contractor was selected. The bid ended up being $6,273,000, which was slightly more than was estimated, and that's in the tip. So additional local money will probably go towards that, but that's to be determined. Paul Satterley from Monroe County also shared that Eagleson Avenue Bridge over Indiana Railroad project will start cutting trees for the project during the October fall break. As mentioned, the NDOT pedestrian improvements project, we received an early coordination letter from them. The SR 446 project, which was HMA overlay, but also possibly some minor structural between Moores Pike and 46. It's not a formalized change yet in the tip, but we've heard through email that they plan to, that they've paused those plans for now. Sunrise Greetings had its ribbon cutting event yesterday, and the road is now open. The road, bridge, and bike path, I should say, are now open. There is a nice aerial image from Lisa that's in the packet. Fullerton Pike is finishing up with paving, and probably in a few weeks will have its own ribbon cutting. The pedestrian trail crossing improvements for the solar, as of August, late August, all the signals were installed, and the two solar powered lights are functioning. The other 5 were waiting for Duke Energy. That they may be all running by now. And then for the old SR 37 and Dillman Road intersection improvement project, a design consultant was selected in July. And an early coordination meeting with NDOT is forthcoming. That's all the updates I have on projects in the tip that are receiving federal funding.
questions or comments? Seeing none. We've already discussed item 2 and 3. So the TIP funding distribution process overview.
Okay, this is on page 30. For your packet, page 30 and 31, this is a working draft. This was as of Monday afternoon. We've since revised this substantially, renamed it instead. Also, it's more Transportation Improvement Program, Flex Federal Funds Exchanges instead of a distribution process overview. And we'll go into greater detail on that within the next couple of weeks. We'll have a draft out. Lisa will have a draft out to you and to Andrew as the LPAs. We'll have that out to you next week, early next week. But it's just an FYI is all this is, nothing more than that.
Any questions or comments on this item? Any old business? Seeing none on the agenda. New business, the TIP amendments, resolution fiscal year 2026-02.
So given that the TIP was, the 26 to 30 TIP was approved, this is a set of amendments to that document that have occurred since March. You have seen the majority of these already as they got changed in the 24 to 28 TIP. You just wouldn't have seen any of the numbers in years 29 and 30. Hopefully you looked through these, so I won't go into detail on all of them, but I will highlight that item number 1, the bridge deck overlay at Hart Street, over Branch Shacks to Feet Creek near Ellettsville, was rescheduled to a date outside the current TIP. Projects or items 2 through 7 are new projects to the TIP. However, you did see them in updates that happened this past spring and summer. Item 9. There were some bridge program funds that from 2025 that weren't used up by the end of the year, and so those were moved forward into 26. So they join the funding that is scheduled for the 26 to 29 inspections and inventory. Item number 12, bridge deck overlay on SR 46 over Stevens Creek, 3 miles east of SR 446. That is a new project. Item number 15, improvements to SR 45 and 10th from the bypass to Pete Ellis. That had a cost increase, small cost increase. And item number 22, is a new project that was added to the TIP, although I believe that you've already seen this one. And item 23 is NEVI funding, electric vehicle funding, that was not initially in the project list, but then was requested to be added back in late March, just shortly after we looked at adopted the draft in March. So it's kind of unknown what's going to happen with that exactly, but they asked us to put it back in. So we're requesting approval of these changes for the now active 26 to 30 TIP.
Any questions questions or comments from the board?
I do have a question on that last one, on the 23. So you don't know exactly what that's for in terms of what kind of electric vehicle infrastructure they're going to be pursuing?
It's what's current. State of Indiana has a electric vehicle infrastructure plan, which was published a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, somewhere around that era. Projects were programmed for funding, and then with the change of national administration in January, all funds were put on an embargo. Recently, in the last month and a half, 2 months, 20 states sued the U.S. government for the release of the funds as an illegal impoundment. Those 20 states subsequently, in other states, received funds. There was a partial release of the funds for the National Infrastructure Program, and the state of Indiana received, I don't remember the exact amount, but they received a substantial amount of money. There are still projects out there that have not been funded. One of those that's not been funded is the project which would be out on Jacob Drive. That was supposed to be a level 3 charger for Monroe County. That one has not been funded yet. Others around the state have been funded. What you're seeing, though, too, is that a substantial amount of private investment has gone into charging units, and that's available on a different map outside of the U.S. government. But the official national administration policy is they would like to cancel the electric vehicle infrastructure program and direct those funds elsewhere. Where elsewhere is unknown at this point in time, but a large portion of those funds are still being held in abeyance. I hope that answers your questions.
Well, I guess the short answer might be that, I mean, is there a specific project, say, in 2026 that this $19 million is dedicated to? Is that one that you referred to, that level 3 charging station then? Like,
Largely charging stations, yes.
okay. But,
Yes.
and if we go to that state infrastructure plan, it might have more details about like where they are and that kind of thing.
It's precisely where they are.
Okay, great.
And they are predominantly like 99% along the interstate system.
Right. Okay, thanks.
Hopi, I don't think you were on this committee last year when that announcement came through of all the locations that would receive a charger. Bloomington, on the west side, was one of them.
Okay.
Where was the exact location again?
Jacob Drive.
Oh, yeah.
And what I can do is we can send out to the entire committee as a refresher, Indiana's electric vehicle infrastructure plan, so that way everybody can see where they were scheduled to be located, and the list. I'll try and find the list of what ones were funded also, and that funding announcement came within the last 3 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, I would appreciate that. That would save me a little bit of Googling if you had that at the tips of your fingers to send.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments, or entertain a motion? Sure.
I have another question on number 21, which is that improvements from, well, it got amended from the bypass to Russell Road to Pete Ellis to Russell Road, and the description doesn't mention anything about pedestrian improvements or the bike ped stuff, but my understanding was that that section will have improved pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure as well. And so I was just wondering how like detailed that description actually is in terms of that project.
Yeah, sorry, the field is cut off, and the description field is cut off. So you
Oh,
can't see
okay.
the rest of what I put
So there's
there.
more. Okay, awesome, thank you. Just wanted to make sure that that was in there. Thanks.
Yeah, let me read it off from, for a second here.
It's substantial.
Well, it's not that detailed, wait, is it? Yeah, it's not that detailed yet because they haven't done design and estimates, especially for the pedestrian infrastructure, kind of in the, around the curve, just before Smith. It's probably going to be a pretty high cost.
Okay, yeah.
But they are also, I think, they may be pondering connecting the path through the neighborhood as well. But design is just now starting for it.
Okay, as long as there's still a plan for a better pedestrian infrastructure in there, that's the only thing that I cared about in that question.
Count on it.
Thank you.
If you're looking for a motion to approve Bloomington Monroe County Metropolitan Planning Organization FY 2026-2030 TIP amendments, I would make a motion to approve these amendments per resolution fiscal year 2026 0-02.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the board?
I have a comment, sorry. I've just pulled up the full description for now that we have, which is intersection improvements with added turn lanes from Pete Ellis Road to North Russell Road, road widening, installation of added turn lanes, installation of pedestrian facilities, and other intersection improvements. Specifics are pending the completion of design plans in '26.
Thank you. Any public comment on the motion? Seeing none. All those in favor for passing the 2026 to 2030 TIP Amendment Resolution Fiscal Year 2026-02, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any communications from committee members on matters not on the agenda? Upcoming meetings?
I think that we skip public comment on matters not included on the agenda. Agenda item 9.
Oh, thank you for catching that. Do we have any public comment on matters not included in the agenda?
I don't see any hands on Zoom.
Thank you. Communications from committee members on matters not included on the agenda. Okay. Upcoming meetings, our Technical Advisory Committee meeting is September 24th at 10 a.m. Citizens Advisory Committee is September 24th at 5:30. Policy Committee is October 10th at 1:30, and they are all hybrid also. And I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.